guys, welcome to the channel. In this video we will look for commercial premises for my offline project together in Kyiv in Ukraine. So I will tell you in general how the rental process works in Ukraine. We will look at 3 different premises, talk about realtors, deposits, sites where to look for premises, and of course the cost, as well as a little about the last weeks of our life and why we ended up in the hospital again. As we are heading to our first destination, let me remind you that I talked about the new offline project I am currently working on in a separate video in detail. I'll leave the link to it in the description of this video, but in a nutshell, it's a studio for stretching, yoga, general physical training for children and adults, and we will also host various games and events. Simply put, it's a studio for children and adults to maintain mental and physical health. This is something that every Ukrainian and probably every person in the world needs to take care of more than usual. By the way, today is my husband's birthday and I'm sick, but we have a tradition of eating cake for breakfast every birthday, so I went to the store near my house in my pajamas to buy a cake. Also, it was very cold and today it's -10 degrees Celsius. So we arrived at the first location. This space is located on the ground floor, halfway down in the basement. It's very common in Ukraine to rent out the first and -first floors in new buildings, I mean multi-story buildings, as commercial space. And now basements are also safer, it's about 75 meters. In general, we are considering options up to the 5th floor from 70 square meters. The cost of this space is $500 per month plus $100 for utilities. In Ukraine, utility bills are calculated separately. That is, utilities include gas if available, electricity, water, internet and heat. In addition, a deposit is always paid in the amount of the monthly rent. And besides, if you rent with the help of a realtor, you pay an additional 50% of the monthly rent to the realtor. In this particular room, you need $1,000 to rent it, monthly rent and deposit. But the renovation here will cost at least $2,000. You can see the condition of the walls, floor and ceiling. It's a cool location and there is a bathroom, a toilet and a wash basin, but there is no air conditioner and no boiler, and of course this is the first things. And then we immediately go to the next location, walking 10 minutes from the first one, and this space is already in an office building. In general, there are many sites for finding such premises, but we consulted with realtors we know, and they all said that the best site is OLX, specifically for finding commercial real estate. There are ads from both owners and realtors. It's like a Facebook marketplace, a kind of bulletin board. By the way, there is still no Facebook marketplace in Ukraine. So it's great that there is a more modern renovation, but the area is up to 60 square meters and there are 2 big drawbacks. The first is that this building is not heated and all the heat comes from heaters. So in winter the utility bills here are record high and can reach $200. Another disadvantage is that the entrance is directly from the street, so it will be dirty when you enter in the rain and snow, and the area is not as large as we would like. The price here is $650 plus a realtor. That is, you need to pay more than $1,500 at once, plus large utilities, plus small repairs are still needed. And then we came to the medical center because my husband had injured his big toe and it wasn't getting better. It started to turn blue and hurt, so we went to a private clinic to have an X-ray and a doctor's examination right away. This is a reminder that it's still my husband's birthday. We quickly made an appointment with the doctor, as I told you in the previous video, that this is not a problem for us, and the X-ray examination and some medication cost us about $70. Thanks God it was just a bad bruise, no fracture, and we went home. And while I was waiting for my husband, I realized that I was completely sick and had a fever. Spoiler alert, the next day I got completely sick. By the way, a lot of people are sick here now. I don't remember anything like this. It looks like some kind of virus has been sprayed because 50% of all our friends are sick now. While I was sick next 5 days, I decided that I wanted to try to eat more healthier this year. I want to eat more vegetables and drink more water, basic things I forget to do all the time. Here is an example of my diet now, and I also took a mini nutritional course. In general, I'm very well versed in nutritional because I used to study this topic for myself, and I lost almost 15 kilos in my time. But there are new studies and I want to be aware of them. Also, while I was sick, I kept looking for a space and saw my old office available for rent again. I remind you that a rocket flew into Kyiv and the company closed. There is also a video about this office on the channel, linked in the description. Also, I read a lot while I was sick. Bonik is always in a relaxed mood. I don't know how to rest even when I am sick, so I still worked a little bit and prepared materials for YouTube channels. About the project, this is my dream project, which I planned before the war started, and even before the virus started. We even found a room back then, but it's clear that offline projects weren't relevant then. Also, with this project I won a grant, which I refused because grants in Ukraine are more like loans. So I decided to do it at my own expense and with funds raised from good people who care about what happens to other people. After all, we can start this project with our own money after 2 years of war in Ukraine, because my family has suffered a lot financial and not only. But that's not the point. Now I've decided that the right moment can take a long time to come, and when, if not now. I feel that this project is necessary now, not only for me, but also for many other people who I can take care of in this way. After a week I feel better, and we are going to see another room with you. Today is a weekend and morning, so there are few cars and it's warming up, the snow has melted. Meanwhile, we have almost arrived at the third building. This is also a very densely populated area. Here the premises are already in a small shopping center. This is a bigger space. It's about 180 square meters. There is no realtor for the price, so it's only the first and last months. The cost per month and deposit is about 1,100 American dollars. In general, we looked at the premises again later, took measurements and made calculation, but there are big advantages and disadvantages. The area location and high ceiling are advantages, but there is no normal bathroom, it's not suitable and it's very expensive to replace it. Plus the walls needs to be painted and the floor needs to be laid. There are tiles and they are very cold. There is no heating here either, only a large air conditioner, so we need to insulate the room a bit. In general, because of the large area, repairs are expensive, and even if we paid the walls ourselves, it's a problem to change the bathroom. Laying the floor, even just warm tiles on top, is also very expensive. By the way, let me remind you that prices have risen for everything in Ukraine, including building materials, so of course we want to invest a minimum of money and most importantly time and effort. After all, in addition to making repairs, there are many other processes that I need to work with, including marketing, sales, hiring, accounting, and others. And my husband, of course, will help, but he works full time during the hiring process and afterwards like a typical workaholic. In fact, it seems to me that my husband is always working because on weekends he also communicated with clients or solves work issues, but the room itself is spacious and you can see it right now. In parallel with the search for premises, we are already starting marketing work now, but of course the premises are the most important thing now and we continue to raise money for the project. By the way, if you want to help and join the fundraising, and of course if you have the opportunity, I will be very grateful, and I leave the link below the video. So you can see the room, it's really very large, but its condition is completely renovated if we consider it for this project. So we will think about the rooms we've seen and watch others as well. Then we came home and Bonik was still resting. We hadn't had a massive attack for a week, so we took the opportunity to go and see what was happening in the shopping centers. But this morning, the day this video was released, Kyiv was attacked from the air again and there are some dead. It's a strange reality, but it's what it's. Unfortunately. In the shopping mall we bought some clothes and went to McDonald's for coffee. By the way, in Ukraine we now have a meme about Ukrainians. In 2020 we thought that nowadays, like yibane, it's an obscene word. It means that if a missile hits, we will all die. In 2023 we accepted that it will be as it will be, and now in this year we are just waiting for the missiles to fly over several times and we can continue to sleep. Let me know in the comments whether you get the joke or not, and I'll show you a little bit more of Bonik. He is already 5 years old and every day without exception I am surprised how funny he is. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I will continue to tell you about the project and our news in general in the next video. Thanks you for staying with me and see you soon. Bye!